Welcome back to the Midday Show. It is Friday, and we decided to do something a little different. I looked at Mark, and Mark was like, there's not a lot to talk about today. And
so we said, let's cancel.
So in a roundabout way, I believe my direct word was, should we wing it? And then basically we came up with the idea of we would just kind of talk about some things we were interested in. And if you had something you wanted to talk about today, you guys can pick the topic, you can comment, you can share. We will throw it up on the screen. Usually we wait until the end of the show and we go through the comments and we'll discuss and we'll share them. Today, if you comment, we're going to dive into them. We're going to talk about it. So if there's anything, nothing's necessarily, is there anything you don't want to talk about, Mark?
Me? I should have a quick response for this and I couldn't think of anything.
That's okay. So
I want to talk about your upcoming vacation. That's what I want to talk about.
We can talk about my upcoming vacation.
How packing is going, how all that is going. So here, I just got one for you right off the top of my head. I was looking through the phone. Justin Bieber is on tour this summer.
Okay.
If you were, would you pay for tickets? And well, let's start with A.
Would I pay to see a Justin Bieber concert?
Yes.
I think I would.
Okay, good.
But like with
my next question was going to be, would you go if someone gave you a ticket? But if you're going to pay for one,
I would. I don't think I would go see Justin Bieber like just me and like my girl, but I think like with a group, like would I pay for a ticket to go see him? Yes. Like Justin Bieber's entertaining enough and he has enough hits. Like it is worth paying to see Justin Bieber.
Okay. How about like old school, like New Kids on the Block? Ooh. Do you even know New Kids on the Block?
No, well, see, this is the funny part. I'm a big boy band person. Like, I have the whole catalog for Backstreet. I have the whole catalog for NSYNC. Like, I have stuff like I have LFO, O-Town. I have stuff people like real. You have to be kind of like die.
I've heard of 98 Degrees. I was waiting for that one.
I have the Christmas album for 98 Degrees.
Which is weird because you don't even really believe in Christmas.
Does anybody actually believe in Christmas? Like no one actually believes someone's coming down the chimney, do they?
Well, Christmas isn't about a chimney, dude. I mean, come on.
No, commercialization has kind of made it about that.
So you would go, then you would be front row for any old boy band.
I would go for New Kids on the Block. I went and saw All for One.
Okay.
I believe I caught a Boyz II Men one as well. So I saw 112 too, which you may not know 112. But I saw 112 in Philadelphia once. So I would go see All for One.
Okay, how about Jimmy Buffett? Have you ever seen Jimmy Buffett?
I have not, but I would definitely go.
Jimmy Buffett is a good show. I just saw. And what's interesting is I was just searching through because we're kind of at that point and the bands are ready to go back out. People are ready to go back out. And I was searching through a site and I saw that Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, and Joan Jett were playing very soon. And I was like, I thought they pushed it again.
Okay.
And they did push it till next year because of all the stuff. So when you're going through these, you may want to double check as to see who's playing and who's not. But I was just on Penn's Peak site. I think Styx is there.
Okay.
I think Styx and REO Speedwagon are playing the York County Fair. If you've seen the one for Bike Week in Ocean City, the bands there are
it's loaded.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So there are lots of good shows, but I saw Bieber and I wanted to give you the
I would.
You were masculine enough to go see him.
I would go see Bieber without a doubt. Let's start here today because you'll appreciate this. Lisa says, "Oh, this could be fun. I want Mark to talk about his book. It's in my summer reading pile. What inspired you to write it?"
You haven't read it yet?
Let's do a small, like, harmless plug. I will say this: you gave it to me in script form. Do I have that right, or did you give it to me as the first?
No, it was in script form.
You gave it to me in script form,
and Jeff threw it back at me and said, "This sucks."
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I read it. I gave it to my girlfriend. I said, "Hey, I think you should read this. Like, I think this is good. I enjoyed it. Just make sure I'm not like out of my element and not just appreciating it because Mark wrote it." So she read it and she said, yes. She's like, "I enjoyed it." So the story, it's a track story, but it's more than that. And I think maybe that's what Lisa's getting to. Like, what kind of got you into it?
I will get to Lisa's point in a second. I will follow it up by saying, Jeff did read the screenplay.
Yes.
Jeff made some suggestions.
Yes.
Some of Jeff's suggestions, when you get feedback from people, you get lots of feedback and most of it is worthless. And I will just say that up front. Maybe 20, 25% people will throw out some ideas, and you'll be like, yeah, it doesn't really work. Jeff actually gave 2 points of feedback that I was like, that would make it better.
Yeah.
And so between the script version and the book version, I have actually incorporated not like specific, like he said, write this, but just ideas that Jeff said would make it better. And he's right. And the neat thing is, I've since given him the book to read these, and he's never read it.
I feel like I've read it. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of nervous to go back to it because I know you implemented my suggestions. So
and you're afraid they'll suck.
Yes. So now I'm nervous to read it again because if for whatever reason I feel like it's not better, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I was wrong. I can't believe I did this to Mark's book.
You will be proud of your life. And you'll be like, oh my God, he listened. So here's the quick story. I've written a bunch of screenplays. I wrote one that got sold a while ago, but this was the 7th one that I started and finished and was proud of. So there are other ones. If you ask any writer, there's stuff we started that we got halfway through and we got bored with it, or we got halfway through. We either got bored, we realized it wasn't very good, or we couldn't figure out how to put it all together.
Right.
And then you're just like, oh, I got this other idea and maybe this will be better. So every writer has things that's like halfway done and that is never going to get done. But this was, I had finished 6 and I was actually riding on my exercise bike in the morning watching ESPN. And there was a story about a kid with autism. He was a high school student. And I had seen a clip of it on YouTube. You can find it. Google like autistic basketball player 3-pointers, something like that. But the story was the kid was, he was an athletic kid, but he was kind of far enough down the spectrum, but he was the team manager. And so he would go to practice every day and he would help with drills. And when there wasn't an aspect for him to help, he would just shoot around. So because he was athletic and because he shot 10,000 shots in his life, he's a pretty good shooter. Right. So on senior night, they said, this is a much longer answer than she wanted. On senior night, they're like, we're going to play him. We're going to put him in the book. We're going to give him a uniform. We're going to play him. They talk to the other team. They're like, with 4 minutes to go, we're putting this kid in. Okay. So they put him in his first, and where the camera is at, where they're shooting, like at this end of the court, the student section is right behind it on the other side. So you could see the students' reaction. So first time down, they come down, they give the kid the ball. He jacks up a 3-pointer, doesn't hit anything. And there's like, oh. So they go down the other end, they come back. And every time they come down, they give him the ball, and the other team lets him shoot. So the second time down, they give him the ball. He fires up a 3-pointer, nothing but net. And the students section goes crazy. Well, there's still 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. So like everyone's hoping he'd make one. When he just made one, and now there's 3 minutes. So in the last like 4 minutes of the game, the kid jacked up 10 threes, and he made 6 of them. And like with each increasing time, the student section is coming unglued. So I was watching it, and I was like, well, wouldn't that be a neat story?
Right.
But I thought, like, you either have to, if you have someone mildly on the spectrum, and I've coached kids, you have coached kids as well, that are mildly on the spectrum. Our point guard a couple years ago, and he's a really good player. But then it's not as dramatic of a story. But if you get a kid that's further down the spectrum, then it's unrealistic because the team sports are too complicated of basketball, soccer, baseball, football. They can't do it, and you wouldn't be able to buy into it. So I thought, well, what if you just had a kid that could really run? And I tell people that, and they think Forrest Gump, and you're like, yes. So that was kind of where the idea came from. That if I had a kid that was affected enough by the autism scale, but was a super enough runner that could really, really compete. So that's where I got it from. And it's good. I think we should block her from our show until she reads it because, but yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It turned out much better. Well, I don't want to say it turned out much. I'm really proud of it. I've got a lot of really good responses. And what's funny is it's about high school kids. It's kind of Stand By Me-ish because it's about younger people and it's about high school kids mostly. But the adults that have read it, even the grandparents have read it, have gotten more out of it because I think it has an element of compassion like young people are so self-absorbed because they just haven't lived through enough. They haven't seen people live through enough. So, and I have no real like autism in my family. I haven't personally, I know people who have, but I haven't really been touched with it. I wasn't a track person, but I don't think you have to be to appreciate the book. So thank you, Lisa, for the plug. And then just go, you'll read it in a night. It's 273 pages and you'll just rip it.
Does the book have a name?
Jeff won't rip it. Oh, it's called A Mile in Her Shoes.
There you go.
You can get it on Amazon. You can get it. I have a website. If you just Google it, it's called A Mile in Her Shoes. You can borrow Jeff's copy because he's not reading it. I mean, he's going to the beach. He's not going to read it again. But
we have to give you like a plug course because the plug's got to be quicker, and you got to say the name of the book at least 3 times.
Sorry,
you have to say the name of the book. You have to say the name of the book at least 3 times when you do a plug. You just got to hit them over the head.
Mile in Shoes, Mile in Shoes, Mile in Shoes. Jeff didn't read it. Jeff didn't read it.
Real quick. Tekla, oh my God, melts my heart. And then Heather, it's really good. I hate reading and read very slowly, and it kept my interest really well. And I read it in less than a week. So it is good. A Mile in Her Shoes.
You don't know if it's good. You didn't read it.
Back cover. And be sure to check out the back cover for somebody else.
Jeff is commented on his quote is on the back cover. He hasn't read the he read it in the stages.
I gave you great notes. I don't know why I'm getting trashed right now.
You did. I tell people that this is, and you know what's funny? Like as I joke with people, I would love to talk to other writers about this because people are like, oh, you need feedback. I can get you feedback. I was like, oh, I get feedback. And a lot of it's like I had one that said, oh, I hope everyone falls in love at the end. They're like, what? It's not a Hallmark movie. Like, stop it. But you know, everyone has their different tastes and what they think. And there have been multiple times when people will give you feedback and then they think you have to incorporate it.
Right.
And sometimes you're like, I don't really like that. And I've had people, like friends of mine, get pissy and they're like, well, you're just not going to listen to anything I say. And then I say, well, whoa, hold on. Jeff read the screenplay. And after Jeff was he said, I think this I didn't understand and this I liked. And after I regurgitated what he said, and I was like, those are both very good points. So I said, not only did I listen to Jeff once, I listened to him twice. Right. So it's not that I don't listen. It's just that your ideas suck. So anyway, but Jeff's ideas didn't, but he doesn't know that because he didn't read the book.
I did read the book. What do we think Little League's big announcement will be today? I would be lying if I said I knew Little League was making an announcement.
I was just going to ask you that.
No, I do know, like a day or two ago, they put out their uniforms. Did you see that?
No.
They put out what the uniforms would look like for each team. So I don't think...
I'll make a guess. Didn't they earlier say no fans?
I believe that was limited.
I thought they said like only family. Because here's if you're Little League Baseball makes the money off the TV rights. They need the ESPN money. I don't say need, but the ESPN money is the big thing. The national exposure is big. And because of where the Little League World Series falls, like late summer, before college football even starts, way before pro football starts, the Little League World Series has like no natural sports enemies at the time. Right. Basketball's long since over. Hockey's long since over. Baseball hasn't got to the postseason yet. So they kind of dominate for that week. So Little League is worried about TV, and that's why they're like, we don't even need a crowd. We'll just put in TV. I would bet now that they've seen that they're going to have no crowd, and 2 weeks later, Penn State's going to have 100,000 people, that they're like, wait a minute, maybe we should let in a crowd too. So it wouldn't surprise me if they amended their stance on attendance.
I agree with that. This is what I'll say. I think it has to be positive news. I just can't imagine you're going to put out the uniforms and different things 24, 48 hours before, and then you're going to come out and say, no fans, less attendance, less teams. I don't see how you're going to backtrack at this point. Because
for this year, they're not having the world. It's
correct.
Just U.S. I can't believe they would change that. And I don't think that would be good. I mean, hockey is just, Canada finally let a U.S. team go to Canada to play. Right. And they waited till June and because just they had to.
Right. I still don't understand how there's not, of all the years to try it, of all the years to do it, I still don't understand why we don't have a host team.
A Pennsylvania team?
Not even a Pennsylvania team, a Lycoming County team, a regional team. If there was ever a time, we're going to have 12, 16 teams from America this year. If there was ever a time to have a host team, this was the year.
Okay, so you're going to the beach.
I am going to the beach. Yes.
What is your favorite beach, like mini golf, like parasailing? Like
when I
what
was
is
younger, it used to be mini golfing. I've enjoyed parasailing. This is the funny, I'm the most, it makes no sense. I burn. It's just simple. I'm in the sun for 10 minutes and I am red. But I love the beach. I love nothing more than getting a chair and a book and a drink and putting my feet in the sand and being out there all day.
You taking a book?
I'll probably take a book.
That's interesting. I wonder, any books in mind?
I have a Malcolm Gladwell one I have to finish. I know that's not riveting, but I still haven't finished Talking to Strangers. And then I want to reread Tipping Point. Which if you've ever read Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, it just goes into all the
Any other books you want to reread?
No, not yet.
Like one that your name's on the back cover, maybe?
Definitely, no, not yet.
Okay.
Definitely not yet. But yeah.
So you're an umbrella guy then, obviously.
Out of necessity, but I don't I've gone to the beach. I think the last time we went, I never got an umbrella.
Are you in the water? Are you a body surfer, one of those, or are you just to sit on the beach and watch?
No, I'll go in the water. I am a beach person.
Well, everybody goes in the water, but are you in the water a lot, or are you in the water just long enough because you're hot?
It depends. If it's a hot day, I'm in the water a lot. If it's just an average day at the beach, then I don't really need to get in as often. You know how much I love the beach. I think I've told you this. We built one at our family farm because that's how much I enjoy the beach.
Well, it's different. The beach has to have waves. That's the whole.
But you understand, it's the concept.
Yeah, I guess. I can sit on the beach for about 30 minutes and then I got to get up and move. And I'll walk down the beach. I'll do all that. I'll get on the boardwalk and walk around. But
you have nervous energy. You can't. That's not a beach thing. That's you can't sit still.
It is boring.
Definitely not roller coasters. That's right. I'm not a boardwalk person. I don't understand the boardwalk. Are you you have kids, so maybe it's different. I've never understood the boardwalk. You spend money, you sweat the entire time. I don't understand it.
Did I ever tell you my counterfeit money issue at the boardwalk? Did I ever tell you that story? So we were in Rehoboth, I want to say. And like you said, what do? You spend money. We're buying ice cream. We're buying food. We're buying pizza. We're buying all kinds of crap. And we get to that game. My favorite boardwalk game. Do you have a favorite boardwalk game?
No, I don't like the boardwalk. I just told you that.
Well, that is true.
Continue.
That is true. Is the roll the ball and the horsey goes across?
Yes.
And you get, because any idiot can do it. And it's fun and it's luck. Sure. And you watch, your 4-year-old can go fire. So I put money down, and I guess when you just deal with cash, the girl picked it up and knew it was counterfeit.
Crazy.
And so she's there and talking to a guy, comes over and starts talking to me. And I'm like, he's like, do you know where you got it? And I'm like, no. So this is what they said. And I get it. They weren't accusing me. I wasn't up against the wall and they're like, you're counterfeit. Where have you been?
Right.
I was like, we've gotten pizza. We've got ice cream. We've got this. We've got that. We've been on the boardwalk all night. So they say to me, and this was my favorite part. They said, well, we're going to take down your information for your protection. And I understand, I just gave the lady a counterfeit $5 bill. I get it. It wasn't mine. But so when I walked away, I was like, kids, they're not doing it for my protection. They're doing this so if I show up somewhere else and I'm giving out more counterfeit $5 bills, then they're going to know it was me. Yeah. But where they just looked me square in the eye and said, I'm doing this for your protection, they just lied right to my face.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's my counterfeit.
23 days to Shark Week. Do you watch Shark Week?
I love Shark Week.
You watch Shark Week?
I love Shark Week.
Interesting. I'm not really I'm not a Shark Week person.
It's I'm not going to schedule my world around it. When I see it, I think it's cool. They are, as what's his name said, they are like miracles of evolution. All they do is swim and eat and make little sharks. But when you see the people that jump, like I would love, in theory, I would love to be in a Shark Tank with one of those. But in reality, I would never get in a Shark Tank because I've seen Jaws and I saw what the big shark did to the tank.
No,
so
you don't want to be in there.
I would never be in it, but
you don't want to. So with all the articles I've read lately about being in like a whale's mouth, what will Jeff's story be upon returning? So that was, you had told the story about the guy who jumped off.
Guy jumped into a whale's mouth.
The story will be, this will be a story of survival. I really like my girlfriend's family. I have never, I think the biggest group I have ever been to the beach with is probably like 10, maybe a dozen people. There will be over 50 people on this beach trip. Now, I think there's 6 to 8 houses. So it's not like everybody's in like,
good God, where are you? You're like taking over.
But I think last count was 54.
This is all family and extended family.
54, all family and extended family.
This is what I would say to you. This is me looking at the glass half full. Most people don't like you.
Okay.
But out of 54 people, somebody has to.
I'm going to find a group. I'm going to find my niche, is what you're saying.
The people who don't fit in all the time. There will be other boyfriends along, like husbands, who are just trying to get away. Can I tell you this story? This is one of my favorite beach stories, too. This is back, I was there when my ex and her father and stepmother and the kids were young. Mike was still playing. And Mike happened to be pitching against the Phillies that night. Yeah. So I said, we're in Rehoboth, which is, so, you know, you go west of Rehoboth, you're heading to Baltimore. You go north, you're heading to Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So I said, somewhere not too far from here, we have to get Phillies stations. Right. So we can watch the game. Mm-hmm. So my ex was like, yeah, you can miss one game, blah, 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 blah. And so me and her dad are going to go watch it. And we're supposed to check out one place that's right down the street. And if they don't have it, come back home. Okay. We get in the car. He shuts the door. I said, we're driving north till we find this game. And he said, that's what I expected. And we just kept going. And we got to a town. We pulled in and there it was. And he didn't pitch very well. So it wasn't a very delightful trip. But it was fun. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Fun. I mean, sometimes stuff like that, whether it's beach trips or whatever you're doing, the unplanned stuff is the best stuff. And I'll say this too, you probably have never seen this because I don't think I have a picture of her. My kids and I always wanted to do one of those old time photo shoot things. Yeah. And my kids and I hopped in one. Okay. And we did the old like Chicago style gangster from the 20s. And it ended up being our Christmas card. It is fantastic. Yeah, that stuff. I've never jumped in one of those. Is Megalodon real? No. Do you know Megalodon? It's the super big fish, right? It's the super big fish shark, yes. Didn't they make the movie The Meg? The Meg, I did. I think I watched it. You know what's funny? Because leading up to the pandemic, I kind of stopped going to movies and movie theaters. Like I just, The Meg may have been like one of the last movies I saw in a movie theater. You paid to see The Meg? I think so. So there was a time that you're like, were you just thinking I have to see this? Or was your mind telling you this is going to be really good? I think it was like 5 or 6 of us. We were just kind of like, what do we want to do tonight? Everything else. And we went and got pizza. And then we went over to the theater and we saw The Meg because that was like what was out that weekend. Because I have gone to movies. I saw Rambo Last Blood in the theater. And it was that bad. Which one? Last Blood. Oh. Yeah, you've seen First Blood. Yeah, which is awesome. Is that the worst movie you've ever seen in the theater? Last Blood? Probably not. Okay, so growing up in Blossburg, there's not a lot to do. There were very few movies growing up there that we didn't see in a theater. Like if it was out in Wellsboro, like you went to see it because it filled one night out of the 7. A group of us went and watched Open Water, which I don't know if you've ever seen. It's like a shark kind of movie. It's like kind of, but it is just 2 people wading around in the water for 2 hours. And it is awful. You're not doing it's just these 2 people floating in the water.
There's nothing happens. There's no actual action.
That would be a good bar time roundtable discussion. Worst movie you've ever seen in a theater. Jaws: The Revenge is a horrible movie. But
was it awful because like it wasn't like this is the, I don't want to say the difference because I haven't seen Jaws: Revenge. Open Water was awful. Not because it was corny or cheesy or the acting was bad or anything else. Nothing happens. It's just 2 hours watching people float in the water. There's no plan. There's no action sequence where like they find a lifeboat and
something.
Nothing happens.
You missed it. You must have dozed off.
Nothing. So like I've seen worse movies. Like I think we saw the Riddick Chronicles when the guy who does the Fast and Furious movies. I'm blanking.
Vin Diesel?
When Vin Diesel was like first becoming a star, he did like these Reddit Chronicles, and it was awful. But at least like things were happening on the screen.
I'm thinking of one too. I think Cameron Diaz was in it. There's one I really wanted to see because the cast was good and I thought it looked clever, and it was almost unwatchable.
Yeah,
and I can't remember what it's called.
Okay,
which is not breaking my heart because I would never watch it again.
No, you shouldn't. Real quick. Let's spin.
We haven't spun yet.
Thank you to Weis Markets. Be sure to go there for all your grocery needs. We have a $25 gift card, a $50 gift card, and a $100 gift card, as well as Moon and Raven, Eat and Run Catering, and we also have the Break Room as well. $25 gift cards up on the wheel. How does somebody get a chance to win?
Well, they go to Facebook and join the Midday Show group.
Yes, they do.
And then the computer spits out a name, and your name, if your name is spit out, you win a T-shirt. You may win something else. Look for us to contact you as we're trying to track down addresses because we have to mail you a T-shirt. We can't send it to you through Facebook because it just doesn't work like that. We can't give you a digital T-shirt. One of the big things of Weis Markets this weekend will be the card section. As Saturday night and Sunday morning, people will be flocking to buy that Father's Day card that they haven't bought ahead of time. But we want to, wish a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, me included. Whenever you bring this up around women, they will say the whole Mother's Day, Father's Day thing sucks because on Mother's Day, we just do things that create more work for them. And on Father's Day, we end up playing golf. And there's a whole lot of truth to that, that they get, women get the short end of the stick in the Mother's Day, Father's Day back and forth. And plus we get to watch the final round of the US Open, which I don't know if Bryson DeChambeau and Koepka will be actually duking it out on the 18th green. But I don't know if you've seen that. They're like two of the top golfers in the world apparently hate each other and they don't want to play. And it's very, very. Now I think DeChambeau shot like 6 over yesterday, or 4 over, or 2 over. I don't know. He might not make the cut. Mickelson might not make the cut either.
Okay.
But anyway, be that as it may. So what they did was they paired them up in that celebrity thing just to make it as tabloidal as they could. Yeah. It's Koepka and Tom Brady versus DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers.
It's incredible.
Isn't that awesome?
That's really great.
Okay, so now we're going to.
Because Aaron Rodgers is kind of like not likable too.
Yeah, but he keeps ending up with hot, famous women.
I know that, but like there is like Aaron Rodgers can be like curmudgeon-y. Like he's not like he can be kind of a pain.
He played the State Farm commercials though. He plays them really, really well with his persona. Like,
oh yeah, and he was good. And he was good on Jeopardy.
He was good on Jeopardy.
He wouldn't be my pick, but he was good.
Yes, he was really good. He does seem to have a relationship issues though.
Just with everyone.
Yeah,
not just women.
Although up until this girlfriend, people would have said you had relationship issues.
That's not fair. That's not fair at all. Today's
Why
random
is that
winner,
not fair?
It's just not a fair statement.
I think it is.
Today's random winner from the Midday Show Facebook group is Lauren Perry. Lauren Perry. Let's spin it for her.
I am 3 for 4 this week.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? Don't ever doubt me. I'm going to watch it in the TV this time. Sorry, that didn't work out. Just shy of $25 to Weis. But
sorry, Lauren.
Did you mention the Moon and Raven, the Break Room, and Eat and Run. Did we mention them?
Say all of those again.
Moon and Raven.
Yep.
The Break Room.
Yep.
Eat and Run Catering.
Yes.
And, of course, Weis Markets. Thank you to Weis Markets for sponsoring the Midday Show group every day.
That's right.
A little tidbit I want to throw in that I forgot to throw in yesterday since no one's listening at this point. I made fun of the Orioles yesterday because they've lost like 18 straight road games, and I was making little did I know that at the same time the Arizona Diamondbacks have lost like 23 straight, and they have tied a record out, or maybe they set the record last night.
Okay.
Since 1900 has it been since a Major League Baseball team has lost this many consecutive road games. That is bad. Yesterday you were talking about how teams in Arizona like got bad, but they didn't stay bad. Apparently right now they're bad.
Yeah, but that's just 23.
It's only 23.
They could, by August, they could
be hot. They won 4 in a row.
They could be. Everyone's wishing you a happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
I don't know how you got. I don't know how that happened. But it's happening.
Father's Day. It's not there, and
it's happening.
All I get to do is spend it in the car. That's what I do. That's what, yeah, I've got to that point in life where I'm still just an Uber driver who gets a tax deduction for his kids.
That is, now that you mention it, I had never thought about it. Like once you have, I mean, at what age? Like 8, 9? Like where now you're up until like what, 6, 7, 8, you're still in control of like, you're not going to that or you're not doing this. But they do hit a certain age where like you kind of just become the taxi.
You're at the mercy of it. Yeah.
What is the age? Like, is that like 7-ish, 8-ish? Like at what point do they kind of?
Yeah, that's probably about once they get into activities that you're not setting up, that you're not.
Because I'm guessing when they're 4, when they're 5, they're just tagging along to what you're doing. But
but soccer and t-ball and stuff like that, they started
like
ridiculously.
5, 4. Okay, because I was gonna say at some point it switches over where they're no longer tagging along because they have to come with you. You are now the chauffeur. Like you are now taking them where they need to go.
Yes, and I don't mean to take this off on a different tangent, but yes, every parent knows that the vast majority of what they provide money and rides. And there's a decade of your life where that's like all you do. And then when your kids can drive, it gets easier. But when you are, because other people's 4-year-olds go play, and you're like, well, my 4-year-old should go play. There is 4-year-old t-ball is a disaster. It is a disaster. My kid started at 5, and 5 is probably too young. But it's all these leagues are competing because they don't want to lose that, because it's soccer. You can start soccer.
But they don't actually, like, did your team, like, they didn't keep score?
No, well, I didn't. There are parents, there are people that keep score. Oh my
when
God.
They're 4?
Oh my God. Fist pumps. That run doesn't count. Oh, dude, you have no idea how insane. But you get kids that aren't potty trained,
right,
or that are kind of potty trained,
right,
that are just have never been in any social setting. So they're not going to listen to the coach. They're walking over. They want to sit with mom. They don't want to be here. But mom or dad wants them to be involved in an activity.
Sure.
So they're shoved. I mean, you'll see kids on the soccer field who just stand there. And the fun thing about little kids soccer is, like, soccer is a spread out game. Yeah. And it's like it is a swarm of gnats. There's the ball, and this crowd of kids just follow the ball around. Right. But then you'll see one kid who doesn't follow anything, because the kid doesn't want to be there, but mom wants the kid to be there, and they want the kid to get involved. So they shove him out in the field like they're going to play. Well, the kid doesn't play. They just stand there.
See, that's why I think I might have told you about this. My niece did this running program this past spring. Okay. And it's in South Williamsport. They do it over by the Little League fields, the soccer fields over there. And all it is just like, it's one sprint. So like 2.5-year-olds, they'll do like a 30-yard sprint. And that's it. That's the event. That's the day. They show up at 2:00. They run their 30 yards and it's done. And then right away, like 5 minutes later, there's the 50-yard sprint for the 3-year-olds. And then it goes up and up and up. And eventually, once they're like 8, 9, 10, they're doing like almost a full mile by the end of it. But the beauty of it, and to your point, is like, it's simplified. There is no score. There is no ball. There is no rules. The rules are simply start running when we say go and go straight to this line. So there is a simplified version of what you're describing, because to me, the nightmare of everything you're describing to me is it's too complicated for a 4-year-old to really do. Like, what are we actually doing?
Well, and you get one kid who's really athletic who just dominates.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you'll see like, and I've seen the parents that are really pumped, and you'll see the parents posted, my kid scored 8 goals or whatever. Then you see the parents that are embarrassed, and they're like, you got to pass the ball a little bit. You've got to give the ball because there's just nobody on the field that can stop them. But the beauty of what you just described is they can grasp it.
Yes.
Here's your activity. We're going to go and we're going to run.
Yep.
And then the kids know, and then on the way home, we're going to stop and get Dairy Queen, or we're going to stop and get McDonald's, but I run from here to here. And then next year you run from here to here. But it's graspable. But I understand why they go younger and younger, but you also have these issues where you get teams that aren't balanced and teams that are killing them. And there's a rule in coach pitch in Montoursville. In T-ball, you just bat everybody through because there's like 7 or 8 kids on team. In coach pitch, we have a rule that you can only get 5 runs in an inning, and then you have to stop.
Okay.
And you would be shocked at how many parents are furious about that.
Interesting.
Oh, I think it's in minors too. You can only get 5 runs in an inning because you could go all day and you run out of pitchers and
it would never end.
And you get parents that are like, well, then they should just get us out. And I'm like, but they're just 7.
Yeah.
And it's not about like, this is not the age group where you're like, you need to be better. Like, they're just here. So you just play and you keep it moving. And there's a lot of insanity in youth sports.
It's crazy. We went down and scrimmaged Trinity last night, our varsity boys basketball team. So you're talking about like 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. And Trinity is starting to do a summer league. But basically what it is they bring teams in and they split them up and they play, and there's no scoreboard. They just play. And the coach for Trinity last night was saying to me, he's like, kids don't even know how to do that anymore. Like, kids don't know how to call their own fouls. They don't know how to just play without a scoreboard. Like, the one kid said, like, well, what do we play to? And the coach was like, we're just playing. Like, we're playing. Like, we're having fun. Like, we're getting better, but like, we're having fun. It doesn't matter if we won or lost. It doesn't matter. And as he's talking, I started to think to myself, like, how many times do we, like, at Loyal Sock, like, how often do we play where the goal isn't to win? The goal is just to play. Like, it's just to get better. It's just to have fun. So as he was talking, I started thinking to myself, like, how could I start to implement some of that stuff? Because, like, you have 14, 15-year-olds that have no idea how to just play. Well, like, they need a score. Like, if there's no clock or score, it's like, why are we doing this?
Well, and God forbid they keep the score in their head, which is what we used to do. But I've had this when Chris Massey and I used to do our radio show. I've talked about this a bunch of times. One of the great changes of life is when we were kids, we had to organize.
Yes.
We had to organize our own game. We had to make up our own teams. We had to officiate our own games, and we had to settle disputes.
Yes.
And because everything is organized and adult run, I mean, I get to the point of like, the ball was off you. No, it was off me. No, it was off. And like, it's our ball. It's your ball. It's our ball. It's your ball. And there's nobody, you got to work it out, or the game's over.
Right.
And if you can't be like, okay, you get this one, we got next one, you got last jump, whatever.
Right.
But if you can't come to that, then the game's over. And it's one of the great things that that this generation has lost, that our generation had, was the ability to solve problems on the playground and in the sandlot without an adult stepping in and being because they have so many organized and sanctioned activities that they don't ever have to referee for themselves.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I agree. Real quick before we go. 1943 Philadelphia Athletics, 1963 New York Mets had 22 straight road game losses.
And I don't know if Arizona is now at 24 or at 23 or whichever. I'm not
sure.
I don't know if they've tied it, or I assume they lost again last night because they've been losing every game all year.
Yeah.
On the road. But be that as it may.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it here at the Midday Show. Be sure to go to Weis Markets for all your grocery needs. And thank you to NorthcentralPa.com. Be sure to go there for all your local news moving forward and anything before the weekend.
I was going to say, I know they're working on a fireworks thing of what's coming up because we have community calendar that we have that's sponsored by Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships. So that's stuff that's coming on. But as we, really get into summer, keep checking out the calendar, because now that COVID is, I don't want to say it's coming to an end, but whatever.
Right.
There is actually things going on the calendar, and there will be things coming up. And I know fireworks is one of the big ones, because July is going to be here before you know it. I will give this tidbit, and I learned this as a young parent. Just like time just moves so fast, you get to summer, school gets out for the kids, and you just feel like you have all these things. Like in January, you're like, these are the things we're going to do, and we should do this, and we should do a day trip, and we should do this. When the kids were young, we would go to Knoebels every year. It was my goal. We're going before June's out, because all of a sudden you wake up and it's August and you got 2 weeks left in school. Hey, come here, buddy. Come here. And, and then the summer's over. So that is my advice that I learned, is when you got these things, don't put them off. Like, you need to get on it. Yes. So there you go. So like, you guys are going to the beach.
We are. This is Basil.
And of the 54 people at the beach house, Basil will like you the most.
Basil should probably come break the ice for me, if we're being completely honest.
Is your dog gone?
My dog is not going. My dog is living the dream up north right now.
Your dog is not invited?
Well, I don't know if he...
Are you sure you're invited?
I'm pretty sure I'm invited. You don't think so? Not after the conversations we had this week? You don't think I'm invited?
I'm just wondering. Like,
I have all the goods. I've got the towels. I have the tissues. I have the hand soap. I don't know what they're going to do if I'm not there.
Do you think her family likes you, or do they think they just tolerate you?
Both. Both. I mean,
that's a very fair answer.
But I've always said, isn't to like someone or to love someone, aren't we really just tolerating them? Aren't we really, like, when we like someone or we love them, isn't that just us tolerating them? Isn't that liking someone?
No.
Isn't that loving someone?
No, I don't think. I think
you don't think so?
I think tolerate is... No, I think tolerate is someone that you just kind of...
I forget who told me this, but someone once said, who was it?
Confucius?
No, it wasn't Confucius. Somebody not quite as smart as Confucius. But somebody once said, love is being able to make excuses for them. And what they meant by that was, you could say, like, well, they do this, but if you love them, you go, yeah, but boy, they're really da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, yeah, they don't always do this, but da-da-da-da-da. Like, when you really like someone or you really love for someone, you justify a lot. And it isn't that part of it, like tolerating, like those flaws?
No, I disagree with that. I make excuses for people that I even make excuses for people I don't like, because I feel sorry for them. Because you're like, this is what they did, but they're just an idiot. I mean, I was just talking about someone the other day that I really felt sorry for. And people that are just wired in ways that are so self-destructive that I don't necessarily like them, but I feel sorry for them.
So let me flip this on to you. Okay. So the people that like you, or the people that love you,
both of them,
you don't think that there's a level of toleration. Is toleration a word? You don't think there's a level that they're tolerating you because they like you or they love you?
Because there's things that I do that annoy people.
Correct. And the people that don't...
you. I don't annoy you.
And the people that don't like or love you, that toleration diminishes. They're just not going to tolerate as much from you.
And I don't disagree with. But I don't think it's high on the scale. Because I think they enjoy... Most of love and friendship is not tolerated. Most of love and friendship is because there's an enjoyment about the mutual interaction. And then there's things that come up that annoys you, that you have to tolerate this, but it's not constant.
I don't know. Here's what I would say. Like, if we did a bell curve or like a correlation chart of toleration to how much someone likes or loves you, it's a pretty strong correlation. It's a pretty strong indicator of how much someone likes or loves you. I would argue it's one of the strongest. It's probably even stronger than how much someone actually enjoys you.
I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that.
But everyone in your life tolerates you. Like, I don't understand what you mean. Everyone in my life who I would like to think appreciates me If I walk out this door and I truly believe that they're not tolerating me, I'm a crazy person.
But they're not tolerating you because they have to. They're tolerating you because
they like exactly.
But the like way outweighs the tolerate. If there was too much stuff that they had to tolerate, they wouldn't like you anymore.
I don't know though. That's my point? Is like that's when someone
your parents might because they don't have a choice.
When someone really loves you, they tolerate a lot.
Well, now you get to the unconditional or the like voluntary. Unconditional love. Yes, mothers tolerate a lot from their kids because they have to. But like the other people in life, if there's too much they have to tolerate, you're out.
Yes, because they probably don't actually like you. That's the point.
No, wait, what?
Like Heather's on your side, but I disagree. Like, if you really like or love someone, you don't have to tolerate.
No, I disagree with that. There is that level of no matter how much you like someone or love someone, there are the things that annoy you.
And the more you love them, the more you will tolerate.
But I think I don't think they go.
I love that.
I understand what you're saying.
Canister on your finger. Right
now. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think the more you like someone, there's only a handful of things. It's not like the more you love someone, the more things they can do that annoy you. I think the more you like someone, it's because you like their personality, because you like the thing, because there aren't many things that annoy you, because you connect and you get along.
But the more you are. So, for example, 2 years ago, there were things about you that I never would have, right? Like it never would have crossed my mind, and vice versa. 2 years later now, today, there are certainly things about you or about me that we tolerate as we've gotten to know each other more and more. So even though you say like the more you love someone, like that doesn't mean you can be more annoying. But the funny part is the more you love someone, the more naturally annoying they're going to become because you just learn more about them. You're going to find more weird and annoying habits.
But weird and annoying don't go hand in hand. I disagree with that. I disagree. I think the people that when you find the really good married couples, which there aren't as many as we would hope.
They're tolerating kings and queens.
They're not. There's a couple things, and you ask, and she's like, oh, he does this, during the football game, he swears, throws the remote control, but there aren't a litany of them, and just be like, I don't think the really good couples, and she's like, I love him so much, and here's the laundry list of things that he does that drives me insane.
Absolutely.
No, I think she's like, they really love each other because they get along well, and they're a good couple. And there's a couple things on each side, but not 24.
No, I just think the level of toleration goes up. Okay, put it to me this way. Let's say there's person A likes me and person B loves me.
Person B is drunk.
Anyway, person A likes me, person B loves me.
Okay.
I don't change. I still do the annoying things. My personality and everything about me doesn't shift just because person B loves me and person A likes me. The only difference is that person B tolerates more than person A because they love me versus person A liking me. You're acting as if you're acting as if because person B can tolerate more than person A, the list shortens. And that's not true. I'm still the same annoying person to both of them.
See, I would make the argument that in lots of situations, I, who am the one who likes you, can tolerate a lot more than your girlfriend who loves you because she has higher expectations of you because you love her, whereas I don't. So if I think my toleration, I think there's lots of things that would annoy the crap out of her who loves you that I would just be like, well, that's not a big deal because my expectations are less.
Yes, but that means her toleration is higher because she has to deal with them, whereas you don't.
But I'm saying maybe it's not something that should have to be dealt with.
That didn't make any sense. That last part, you lost me on that last part.
Because you're you're saying she has things to tolerate. I don't have to tolerate it. So it's not an issue for me. It doesn't mean, but it's not universal then.
But you're almost making my point for me.
I don't think I am.
I think you are, because the point I'm making to you is the more you love somebody, the more you are going to tolerate whether you want to or not, because you're just going to have to deal with their quirks and the things that make them them. So your level of toleration goes up whether you realize it or not.
I don't know. I've made my point. I will stand by my point.
You can stand by your point.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching the Midday.
I have.
Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show. We really appreciate it. And be sure to go to Weis Markets, support them. Be sure to go to NorthcentralPa.com for all of your local news. And we will be
And
back
because I'm a good friend, I won't joke about Jeff's future divorces.
That's fine. He doesn't have to. I've told you before, I feel like I've been divorced before. So it's fine. I can relate to you a little bit. All right. Thank you guys for watching and enjoy your weekend.
Happy Father's Day.